right, let's move on to something else, man. This is
Wow,
I know.
This is what we have on. You got a sick mind.
I'm trying to transition, dude. Okay, here we go. How long can short-term rentals make you money? Okay. So we talked about bonus depreciation. We talked about the fun things, front end cost expense, the bonus depreciation at the end of the year, these kinds of things. So I wanted to run down the road of 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. What does the long term look like? So should we start with the short term?
So no, I mean, they're short-term rentals, but they're long-term investments.
Right.
So the ultimate answer is forever, right? It's an asset. Real estate lasts a long time. You're going to have some revamps, fix-ups along the way, or redesign, whatever. You're gonna have to refresh the property along the way. But it can make you money the whole time, and it can be a long-term investment. There are legacy properties that people will have for 30, 40, 50 years, maybe in their family.
Okay.
And they can be making money the whole time if they're, income producing assets. Yeah. There's not a timeline on it necessarily. Now, short-term rentals, like that when you look at like long-term rentals, we would say, well, how long can they make you money? Well, they can make you money for a long time, and then you sell them to somebody else and they make them money for a long time, and they keep going, right?
Right.
Short-term rentals have just now become recently a mainstream asset class. They're not going anywhere. So their runway is very long, and it's okay. And the longer you're in it, the lower your basis is, and because property prices have gone up, and you bought any property you look at that was purchased 20 years ago, it's got a really low basis for the revenue that it's generating. So the longer term you have it, the more money it actually is going to be making you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I think about other asset class, like even for instance, stocks or crypto, you buy it at a low point, you sell it at a high point, but this is not that. You're going to buy this and you're going to hold this. This is a long-term deal. Okay. So now
and you look at it, here's where it comes down to property goals.
Okay.
Right. I might have my property goals might be different than yours. And where I have 6 properties, but I've owned a lot more than 6 properties over the years, because I'm always looking at my return on equity. There's a point where I could keep these properties, pay them completely off, have a very low basis, and they continue to make me money. What I like to do though is I look at that return on equity, and usually for me, somewhere in that 5 to 7 year mark, I flip the property. I say, hey, listen, I've got a decent amount of equity in here. I can take that out, take that chunk of money that now is on top of what I put into that property. So I might have put $100,000, but now I have $500,000 of equity on top of that. So now I'm taking out $600,000 and being able to buy a bigger and better property, right? A $300,000 property, for example, is not likely to turn into a $3 million property in a 10-year period, right? Like it's probably not going up that high.
Right.
But it might cap out at 800, 900. And you're like, hey, miss, I feel like I've got really good equity in this property. I'm going to pull it out, and then I'm going to go buy a property for $1 million. But that property does have the potential to hit the $3-4 million range. It's probably not going to make it to 15 or 20. And so I'm going to pull it out and then put it into something else. And so it continues to grow. So basically I'm parlaying my equity into bigger and better properties that have the potential to appreciate higher amounts. And the dollar amounts are bigger. The percentage is not that much bigger. They might all be appreciating at 5 to 8%, right? But my dollar amounts are bigger. And so it continues to parlay up. So long-winded answer on that is there's multiple paths you can run down. And what your strategy ends up being is, okay, where and what path am I going to run down? There are plenty of people who say, hey, listen, I want this to be a legacy property, and I'm going to own it for 30 years. I'm going to own it for, I want this in the family for the long term. We love it. Here's what we want to do. It gets paid off. It continues to produce for us. We get to use it as a lifestyle asset, despite what some of the gurus, air quotes, are out there saying that lifestyle assets don't work. Those of you that are the gurus saying that, I completely disagree. And you know who you are. So shot taken.
Okay. So it depends on your property goals. Some people may, like you said, say in 30 years when the mortgage is paid off, we're going to have this thing and we're just going to use it family. We're not even going to go Airbnb anymore. This is going to be our own thing. And so it just depends. It depends on you.
Yeah. And you might still continue to use it, right? But your basis is so low. I mean, any property that was purchased 30 years ago has a really low basis, right?
Okay.
And so basis meaning what you're into it versus what it's worth right now, like what you could go replace it for. And so your basis is so low versus the revenue generated and everything else, because revenue has gone up over the past 30 years. And your payment, somebody else has paid off that property. At this stage, you probably own it free and clear. You probably have a zero basis. And so it's infinite return on that investment. You've probably many times over gotten a return of your capital that you put into the property. And so that can be a great plan as well. And that goes to how long does it work? It's going to work as long as you want it to work.
Wow.